Hey y'all, I'm Raina Harper, and welcome to EveRe-Watch Way, where I podcast a spell that takes a hold of you, for the show where I reminisce and recap the Nickelodeon fantasy series Every Which Way. We cover each episode of the show here, and I go into detail on everything relating to what happens with the show, what I remember from keeping up with it in 2014 and 15, and all the fun knowledge and commentary I can bring in with it. And this is a super special episode today, beginning Season 3. We're halfway there. Um, and with the episodes The Beachside 7 and Rebel Emma. Sounds intriguing. And I have some intriguing guests today, so a very special and magical trio in their own right. What are your names?
Oh God, do we just do the sound off? Hi, I'm Annie.
I'm Kit.
And I'm Mac.
That's what I had in mind.
That's us. Hi. We're Crooked Russian Cam. We do I Will Fight You, among many other shows.
The Jammer D&D show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Jim Jam, where we recapped all of Jim and the holograms.
Yeah.
Including the comics.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was a nice coincidence for us.
Exactly. And I've talked about Jem on this show, on this podcast plenty, and that's, you might guess where I heard of you guys first. Was looking for Jem-related podcasts, but it's great to have you on today. How are you doing on this fine July morning / whatever time of day in different regions?
Yeah, it is 5 p.m. here in the UK, and I mean it's been nice for the UK. I only got rained on a little bit.
Oh, isn't that
Hooray!
nice?
Yeah,
I just rolled out of bed, so I'm
Yeah.
good.
I had a donut and coffee, so we're doing all right.
Woo!
It's been a 3-day weekend.
Given that you often do your podcast covering funny and whimsical and somewhat cringeworthy pieces of media, I thought you were the ideal folks to have on for this. This sort of format was partially inspired by like the Gem Jam episodic thing. So I'd love to ask each of you all in turn on a basic level, what did you have? What did you think? / Did you have a good time preparing for this?
You gave us this primer, right? That had quite a bit of information about.
Yeah, which
I wrote
was
up
really
a whole
useful.
document.
It was really
So
useful.
thank you for that.
Of course.
Yeah, and I'm glad that like the opening credits had like this thing where I could put faces to names because for one thing, I had a very hard time telling these actors apart.
Yeah.
There's a certain type of teen that you see on a lot of the Nickelodeon sitcoms where they all just seem to cast from like the same subset of like at the time I guess Instagram models where they're very difficult to tell apart. But from the primer you gave us, it seemed like this fairly like elaborate high fantasy, like urban fantasy, like heavy on the world building type thing.
Yeah.
And then I watched the show and I was like, they are using all of this fantasy world building to do Nickelodeon sitcom shenanigans. It's like fan fiction of itself.
And shot like a telenovela.
Yes.
But
also, I did see that it was
Shot
an
in
adaptation
60
of
FPS.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
I did see that it was when I googled this show that it was an adaptation of a Nickelodeon telenovela.
Yes.
Which I found interesting. And then also it just kind of felt like I'm not sure if these webcomics still exist, but for a while there was an era of webcomics where they would do a whole lot of fantasy world building build up in the story itself, and then the comic week to week was just like low stakes character drama.
Yeah.
It felt kind of like a TV version of that made for not that much more money.
Exactly.
It was interesting to see a soap opera shot without any camera work besides like just a long shot or like a middle shot. No close-ups, no zooms, and to then score this program exclusively using free MIDIs available with a copy of GarageBand.
I mean,
It was an interesting choice to make.
Yeah. So, well, you say that, but I wrote in my notes there are a couple, like, relatively speaking, in these episodes here, there were a couple moments where the camera work really popped off, and I was like, whoa, they're doing some more complex shots than usual. Like, for a brief moment, anyway.
They took it off the tripod.
Yes.
It did hit one of those things where I really love, because it was clear that the adult actors were having a great time. where they were just chewing the scenery.
Yeah.
My only complaint the whole time, the whole time for the adult actress was, Agamemnon, I need you to keep your tongue in your mouth.
Yeah,
God, yeah.
chew the scenery, don't, like,
Lick
lick
it.
and mouth it.
Oh.
Like a baby teething.
His exaggeratedly sipping the pineapple juice. His
A
opening the mouth
lot.
to sip the pineapple juice.
It's too much. I didn't care for it.
I guess my other major impression is that at the pacing at which this show seems to work is that Emma sure has some very busy days.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
This wasn't even the
exactly.
whole day.
Right. It was like late morning through to the evening in these 2 episodes.
And
you know
it
how
seemed
in
like
the
there was
Pokemon
still
cartoon, like Ash Ketchum is by this point a causality sink where something happens to him like every few hours.
Yes.
Oh, he retired now, didn't you hear?
Oh, is he retired now?
What?
Yeah, he's a retired 10-year-old. They switched to a new protagonist for their mainline thing.
Cool.
Let that 10-year-old sleep, please.
It's been 20 years.
He is the mythical entry-level applicant with 10 years of experience.
That's him! Hire him!
Yeah. I mean, he's more qualified to work this beachside restaurant than any of our characters, really. Well, I mean, at least, I mean, you know, the only reason Gigi got hired was because of nepotism, obviously. Okay, let's start at the beginning.
All right.
Okay, so we set the scene on the beaches of Miami Beach, if you will, and so Daniel, he looks out from his lifeguard stand with binoculars. He's looking out over the water, and then we get a Kuleshov effect moment where he's looking through, and then we cut to Emma looking longingly. So we get it's some clever editing, you guys, because we get the sense that, like, oh, they're thinking about each other. Isn't that cinema?
Someone involved in this show went to like one class of a film course and was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, now she's working on at the Beachside 7. This is a location we've never seen before. I mean, there's
What,
the
really?
restaurant.
This is
I
the
was
first time
wondering.
this set's happened?
Oh. The way it
Yeah.
was presented, I thought it was just a place that was like
Yeah.
a constant throughout the show.
I thought
Yeah,
this
this
was
seems
like
like
just
the
the
main
Angel
place where
Grove.
the show is set.
I thought this was like the
Well,
Angel Grove Juice Bar. I mean, like, the opening sequence has them in school uniforms, so I assume that they spent a lot of time at school, but, like,
Mhm.
surely this is the third place, besides their homes and their school, is the Juice Bar.
Well, so, okay, you're half right. So, the 7 is just a normal restaurant, like, indoors, that's appeared throughout the first 2 seasons. But this is the beachside version that they've maybe it's newly opened. I'm guessing they're trying to imply that.
But they definitely sound like we have always worked at the Juice Bar.
Oh yeah, Emma just started working a job like this.
No.
I also gotta mention that I recently finished watching Burn Notice, which also takes place in Miami, but the tone is different.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for the gunshots and explosions to start and was kind of weirded out when they didn't.
Well, this is
No,
clean, intended at children.
Our issue here is somebody can't stop carrying trays of drinks everywhere.
Diego yells at Emma for daydreaming, and he's like, "Hey, why you can't stop slacking? Remember our rule?" And she's like, "Yeah, if the ice melts, it's free." Damn right it is. That seems like a standard enough rule, honestly.
It seems a difficult rule to have in Miami, where it is
Outdoors.
notably hot, outdoors on the beach, where there is a lot of sun. So, if the drink melts, it's free. That does not say if the ice has melted by the time your drink arrives. That seems to suggest during the entire course of your drinking, if the ice
Right.
melts.
I think it's implied that if the ice melts before it gets to you.
Oh, never assume a customer
apply
can
anything
understand
to a customer.
implications.
You've got a pair of like 10-yard stairs, 100-yard stairs now with Mackenzie and Annie.
I know exactly. And for a second I was like, wait, why is Emma writing with a watermelon pen and a watermelon notebook? Like, what? um, uh, but then we come to see, like, oh, that's the uniform, I guess. Like, everything is watermelon themed or pineapple themed.
Yeah, we only see two staff uniforms on 2 characters. Everyone else who works here seems to just sort of. Does anyone else work here besides Diego? Because he's not in that uniform. He's not even in like a masculine version of it.
Diego's wearing a pineapple vest or something. There's fruit themed in general.
And
Diego's just kind of dressed as Florida man.
Yeah. So he's also a high schooler. He's also 17. He seems to be the only person in running anything.
Oh yeah. Also, but he and Gigi are twins.
Really?
What?
Yes.
Wow.
But they're all minors. Can he actually
Yes.
be a manager at this point legally? And even so, he can only work like. What? How many hours a month how many hours a week can a minor have? Like,
I take your point. Yeah,
I think it's
there
like
is no adult manager present.
Okay, well, I know some laws here.
Yeah.
Okay, Mackenzie, let's hear it.
In the summer, teens can work basically as much as they want, so long as they're older than 15.
Okay, that's what it is. But like at least in the state of Washington, in the fall they need school permission.
Yeah, in the fall they need small hours, but generally, and also like actually back in our home state of Indiana, as well as a bunch of other states, that doesn't exist.
That's true.
And also, there's also the fact that 17-year-olds can be managers. Generally, they tend to be like smaller managers.
Okay.
Either assistant managers or something like that. But generally, they're over like smaller businesses, like I guess a juice bar on a beach.
Either way, I'm concerned that there's no older presence here keeping all of these dramatic teens in line.
I do remember hearing that his parents own the place. Which
Where are
I
his
feel like
parents?
Nepotism is a factor now.
Apparently, Diego cools the drinks by breathing on them with his ice powers.
That was the part where I started to lose it too, because like the way it's played up is that he is like the last of a long line of an ancient discipline, and he's using
which is foreshadowing, as we know.
Yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, I use my ice powers to blow on drinks to keep them cold. What?
Yeah.
Normal stuff.
Yeah. And we get doesn't like someone else not in this conversation like hear him say that he like breathes on the drinks and like gives a weird look? Am I wrong?
Somebody says ew, and I can't remember if it's Emma or if it's somebody in the background, but somebody hears him and says ew, which to be fair, that does not sound like it's compliant with any health department standard.
This juice bar is the Wild West, apparently. But Andy's like, hey, once I become a guardian, I'm gonna cut off your fun and not let you do that anymore. But Diego's like, well, joke's on you. Kanais don't have guardians, and I'm the last one ever. You can call me Mr. Kanai Supreme.
I feel like there is a pathos to this concept that is not being communicated properly.
No, it's not.
Can
I am the last of my kind.
Guardians of
Don't
other
worry
teenagers.
No, Andy's just wishfully thinking. But she's always like obsessed with the idea of being a guardian one day, even though she doesn't have powers herself. So.
I seem to like. I don't recall her like being training to be a guardian from the notes. Is this the first time in the show it comes up?
Well, she just talks about the idea of doing it. No one ever actually lets her do it.
So she's just decided this is what she's going to do.
Yeah. Well, she's friends with the flying spell book, at least.
Yeah, I don't think the flying spell book was in the notes.
We'll get to that.
I was not prepared for the flying, apparently sentient spell book.
Yeah. And Andy is like, hey, Emma, or we are going to rule the world. And then Emma gives her a dirty look. I mean, you'll rule the world, but with my help. Yeah. And then she's like, well, can you help me? Like, with my juice, like, make all these juices? I'm like, wait, you're gonna ask a non-employee to help you do the work?
Yeah, I don't think
Really,
she has
Emma?
a food license.
Also, the fact that everyone feels comfortable like asking other people to help out without paying them, that comes up later.
Yeah, I don't think a lot about this place is compliant with any labor laws ever.
No.
No, but yeah. So but Andy's like, well, would you look at the time? I have to go help the Hexerin out. He's sunbathing. The book is sunbathing, so I have to put leather lotion on his bindings to.
That's not lotion. Leather is treated, but not with lotion per se.
Also, it was wild to me that was not an excuse that she legitimately planned to put lotion on the leather book. Like, you see her doing it later.
Yes. Because apparently that's what she does when she brings the Hexerin out to the beach. But so then Emma also in the season 2 finale, it's left to our interpretation that the Hexerin might have died, like had a spell cast on it, and then he was out of commission.
Oh, so
glad
it's
to know
just,
that the
it's just fine now. Don't worry
It's
about
just
it.
fine now.
That sounds a lot like a lot of other plot points in these 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's just over now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That's a mainstay staple of this show.
I'm getting a sense that the screenwriting style here is, as we've referred to on I Will Fight You, advance, never retreat.
Yes, exactly. And so Emma is just like, okay, I'll just look over my shoulder, make sure no one's looking directly at me. I'll just fill these drinks with magic. There we go. I mean,
but who's among us wouldn't do that, really?
Yeah.
But basically everyone in this show, and this is later on is the first time we ever get like any comeuppance on this. Everyone's just like, oh, I'll just do a spell, and no one's probably looking, so it's fine. In a crowded area, you know.
Yeah,
and,
well, I
no
feel
one
like
ever does call it out.
it sure seems like in this set, like in this like pool set, in this juice bar set, it seems like you've got a lot of customers who are used to a bunch of teens being loud and dramatic instead of working. So I feel like they're kind of used to just like tuning all of that out as so much white noise.
Just
Yeah,
a permanent
totally.
not my problem field.
Yeah. Now,
Yes.
the question is often, if that's the case, why do we keep coming here? We never get our orders.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the only place at the beach, I guess.
It's the only place to get smoothies in Miami.
Yeah, and so Emma goes out to deliver the drinks, including the first mention of a smoothie they serve, which is the triple blueberry with extra blueberry.
So it's a quadruple
uh-huh.
blueberry.
Yes. Apparently, I genuinely thought about introducing you guys as the triple blueberries in the.
Thank you for restraining yourself.
I don't even know what that means, but yeah.
I'm not sure the people who wrote it know what it means.
It just sounds funny, you know.
Just sounds
triple
funny.
blueberry with extra blueberry. That's another screenwriting rule they follow. If it sounds funny, just put it in. Yeah.
And then just keep saying it.
But
Yes.
The more
don't
times you say it,
include
the
a
funnier it
laugh
is.
track. Usually
Right,
I don't
'cause
advocate for those. And yet this show has proven me incorrect. There are pauses for laugh tracks.
There
Right.
just isn't one.
There is just none forthcoming. No chuckles.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
ooh-woos.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we get a cringeworthy scene with Emma's dad. Actually, cringeworthy and Emma's dad is redundant with because he's like, "Hey, I'll take a picture of you. Pretend like you're serving drinks." Dad, I am doing that actually. I love how parents say that. Like, "Oh, pretend you're playing around." We are, and you're interrupting. You know. But he's like, I think you're gonna. It's my birthday. I know you have a surprise party for me. I know it. Don't pretend like you don't. Yeah.
I feel like the standard like sitcom plot here would have been he's like, "Oh, I know you have a surprise party planned," and then she genuinely forgot to plan the surprise party. But no, she did plan the surprise party.
Right, and
Yeah.
then she reinforces both here and then shortly with her boyfriend, like how busy she is, how she feels like she doesn't have time for anything, as though this would tie into a plot point later that it simply does not.
Yeah, like she literally
Yeah.
stops time in the episode, but that doesn't really seem to factor into the whole "I don't have time for anything" element of the story.
Like you, yeah, if yeah, you could definitely use that where she's like takes advantage of it, like, oh, I could get the stuff done that I haven't had time to do, or or she like uses it mischievously or something like that, you know.
But no,
No.
it's another minor inconvenience that doesn't even last the length of the episode.
Yeah,
Right.
we've referred to these in the past as plot cul-de-sacs.
Yes. Hmm.
Is that it goes
Totally.
somewhere, it goes in a circle, and then you end up right back where you started, and it's 5 minutes later now. That's about the only thing that's changed.
Yeah, and then she runs into Daniel, and he's like, "Hey, Emma." Oh, hey, hey. That was more like a bleh than a hey. He's very energetic. What did you think of Daniel in general?
He
Dial
doesn't really
tone?
make much of an impression, yeah.
He's fine, I guess.
He's a boyfriend.
And then
Yeah.
I saw him, and then I saw the guy that she apparently dumped for him, and I was like, I'm not sure Emma made the correct choice.
Well, you see, one
Agreed.
of them is wearing a V-neck t-shirt.
Yeah, one of them's wearing all black. You see.
I'm not sure Daniel is worth what sounded like a whole season of defying the council of witches to be able to date. I'm not girl,
Right.
I don't know if he was worth that.
It's Rio all over again, frankly.
But oh, this. I thank you for bringing this up. This show is super gem coded in general.
Do you think that's on purpose or completely by accident?
Well, I at least have interviewed a few folks involved, and they've heard of Gem before and enjoy it. So, not like high up creative involved, but like a couple costume designers and one actress who played a minor role in the second season.
I feel like it needs a lot more car chases, explosions, murders, and animal attacks to be a really gem to me.
Well, we have animals,
Well,
they don't
sure.
attack.
Exactly. We need more attacking. There needs to be bears, which are dangerous. Lions,
Well, the
large
bears that block the
gumball,
hologram projections.
Orcas.
orcas. We're wearing
Yeah.
killer outfits.
It's amazing how much of that stuff just ends up permanently embedded in your psyche.
It's been years, and yet,
The bear is blocking Emma's hologram projections.
yeah. Hologram blocking bears. Where are the hologram blocking bears on this witch television program?
Yeah, outrageous. So yeah, so Daniel's apparently getting off work early to help set up for the surprise party, and he's like, "That'll get me some goodwill points with your dad." And Emma's like, Are you sure you want to go? Because like there'll be a lot of liquids that you could have the chance to spill on him. Haha.
Is that
There was a
like a
whole
running joke?
Yeah, is that a thing? Is
Oh,
he
you have-
perpetually spilling things on her father?
Yeah, and like, Francisco, Emma's dad, has a hatred of Daniel that you can see in his eyes whenever he lays eyes on Daniel.
How
It's-
interesting
it's,
to feel strongly about Daniel.
I know, right? That's what I keep saying. It like what he's a little cinnamon roll. Why you hate him?
I just,
You know?
I'm not sure he elicits strong feelings, positive or negative.
He's just kind of
Right.
there.
Well, you say he was like Rio. He never kicks any plants, so that's a point in his favor.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Well, Rio Pacheco is volatile at least.
Yeah, Rio was compellingly terrible.
Yes.
Yeah. So then Daniel, of course, stumbles in the sand as he flirtatiously leaves. He's like, "I gotta guard the ocean." Whoa! I should stumble a little bit.
Is that just a bit that happens with him? Is that he trips on stuff?
I'm not convinced that wasn't a genuine stumble.
That's just the take they used.
Hey, you think they were gonna take another one? They have so many takes for this. The scenes last 30 seconds. Go, 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 go.
Yeah, and but so then Katie starts badgering Emma about the drinks being late. She's one of Maddie's Panthers, of course, and then Gigi is like, "Hey, what? Can you do my shift for me? I'm just gonna blow off work and go gossip." Yeah, very very on brand for her.
Very on brand
and then,
for
of course,
teenagers doing jobs in general. I'm sure Mackenzie's got old pain about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
teens.
And Katie asks for another triple blueberry with extra blueberry. Is this just on the menu? I'm assuming it is.
Like, they have triple blueberry on the big list, and then one of the add-ons you can get is extra blueberry. And Katie was just like, "Hey, you know what would be funny?" And then just nobody's laughed yet, so she's gonna keep doing it.
Listen, you need to get those antioxidants. I don't think like acai was a superfood yet, but like we're getting up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is we're getting into the acai era. Every acai way is the spinoff of this show. And so and also we see at this point all the employees have watermelon aprons. Is this a reference in the future to a certain social issue that I won't name?
No.
Anyway.
Short answer, no.
I just love making jokes like that, though. Then Emma stumbles with the tray, and whoa, she accidentally freezes it in midair and freezes all of time, apparently. Oh dear.
And like,
no lead up.
We've seen sitcoms. We know how this works. We're thinking, oh, this is going to lead up to her like abusing the time freezing power, and then she learns a lesson about blah, blah, blah. But no, that's not what this is.
She's too goody two shoes for that.
There's no. She just trips, points her finger, and then all of time freezes.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh dear, what's going on? Everyone's frozen. What?" And
the green screen is incredible.
Oh my god, it's so good. Like they of course they don't. Oh, I'm surprised that they didn't have just have the actors stand very still. They just put in still photos and have ever superimposed against them.
Yeah, they had one actor stand very, very still, which was the actress playing Mia. The rest of them, it's just...
Andy. Andy in a little bit as well.
Yes.
Both of them, actually. Oh, and Daniel a bit later. A few. But Mia is just pretending to be frozen, and then once Emma freaks out and runs away, she's like, well, look, the chosen one freezing time. She'll be easier to take down than I thought.
I mean, if she can freeze time accidentally, that seems to imply that is going to be a challenge, because she can freeze time on accident.
Yeah, I'm not sure that means any kind of, dethroning her is easier. I think that makes it infinitely harder.
Well, I mean, the freezing doesn't affect her because she's a magical being. But I can kind of see what you're saying as well. Like, Emma's like, what did I do? She tries a bunch of spells and none of them have any effect. It'll be a breeze. I want everything to now unfreeze. It doesn't work. Unfreeze! Unfreeze! Please! I love it. Every time, Emma acts in awkwardness or desperation, it's pretty funny.
Is it a thing that when, you it seems like it's a thing that when you say the spells out loud, they have to rhyme, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Because later on we get into, some slant rhymes that even Emily Dickinson would not let fly.
Well, I mean, even Maddie calls that out. But Mia rubs her hands together, and I'm like, I think this girl might be a villain. You guys, do you think? I don't know.
I don't know. It's really subtle.
She does the thing. She does villain acting, which is the acting you do when you're not very good at acting and you decide you're playing a villain. But also, none of what she does in the 2 episodes that we watched is is really villainous at all.
I think she's playing a long game.
Yes, she's starting to ramp it up. Like she's trying to get in everyone's good graces while also like being tricksy. But like, I don't know. She's not very smooth at that either, and the characters are just dumb, you know. But then we find out that Maddie isn't affected by time being frozen. She's just rambling on. She reminded me of, you know, the episode of Futurama where Bender rambles on for 500 million years. It's that same thing where, no one was listening to my whole story. Whoa.
Maddie definitely seems like the kind of character that's like, this is the Lucy Punch character. This is the one that if you're going to have to play anybody, you want to play the vapid mean girl, because then you get to, you know, ham it up a bit, have a bit more fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
You get to play the kind of character who it takes her 5 whole minutes to notice that time has stopped, because she's not used to people. She's not used to people like interrupting her when she speaks anyway.
Yeah, while she's
Right.
even looking directly at like sand frozen midair, it just does not register.
Just that level of self-absorbed, which is fun.
Bless her heart.
Yes, exactly. And she's going on a story about how she doesn't understand what steak being rare is. And her mom has to tell her like, oh, that's a normal thing. But then she just had her proxy, aka Diego, touch the steak with his heat powers, and that's perfectly done.
Okay, can you the proxy title? I didn't see that in the notes. Can you explain that one real quick? Is this like a magic boyfriend?
So he's a Kanai.
Right.
So basically someone who has elemental powers plus some more things. Like, it's definitely not inspired by the Avatar at all.
Yeah.
And so basically there was a plot point in season 2 where Maddie lost her powers for a time, and so she not being friends with Diego yet, she's like, hey, you have your Kanai powers, you should do stuff for me that I want to do. So essentially I'll have powers by proxy.
Oh, so this isn't like some kind of like magic title or like a pre-existing thing. This is just sort of referring back to a joke.
Yes.
Okay. It's a nickname, not a title. Gotcha. Thank you.
Right.
Have we ever confirmed that she knows Diego's name?
She does.
Okay.
But essentially it's a term of endearment by this point that they both find funny, you know. But because like in the climax of season 2, when Diego when at one point she has to save him, she calls him by his actual name.
Okay.
So
because I was wondering if it was I started you calling this a joke. I never learned your name. Now it's far too late to ask situation.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, don't you wish you had a partner who could make your steak or drinks their exact right temperature with a touch?
As an Albertan, I have to say that well done is not the correct temperature for a steak.
That is correct.
So that's another reason subtly that we're not supposed to like Maddie, because she prefers her steak well done. You know, it's a neat writing choice, you guys. And but then she notices that Sophie is frozen because hasn't been responding when she calls for her. Sophie, hey, what's going on? And then she notices like all the sand frozen in midair, of course. And then she touches the sand and is like, "What's going on? Did you bury your head in the sand again, and that's why you're acting like this?"
But her head is out of the sand.
Her head is visibly not in the sand.
Her shoulders and head are out of the sand.
I feel like this line was written before they knew what the blocking for the scene was going to be, and then they just did not change it.
Or maybe the joke is that earlier she buried her head in the sand and was thus deprived of oxygen, and that's why she's not responding.
Maybe.
That's my most charitable interpretation. But then she's like, something weird is going on. So then she runs about and like trying to see if oh gosh, everyone else in the area is frozen. And then she goes up to Andy, is like, "Oh, Andy, you must be able to help. oh wait, you're frozen too, huh? So she moves her arm around.
Characters who are magically immune to the time freezing spend a startlingly long amount of time being unclear that time has frozen, despite having human eyes with which to survey the environment around them.
Listen, the episode was running 8 minutes under.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
a lot of slow-mo.
Characters in the show are not smart. Then she tries to grab the hexarin, but then the hexarin like snaps itself shut on her fingers, and the hexarin start fighting like Snoopy and the ping pong table or whatever.
And then it briefly turns into Birdemic. Like this floating CGI book flying around snapping at them while they just kind of wave vaguely in the direction that the director has pointed them in, because they're on a big green screen and they can't see anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, Diego, meanwhile, back at the juice counter, is annoyed that Emma's dad isn't moving, and Emma's dad's giving crazy eyes, frozen in this moment. Is like smiling, and just seeing it frozen like that was very creepy. But then he hears his girlfriend, screaming, so he goes to help, and she's trying to fight the hexarin off without a coat hanger, Birdemic style. And then Emma rushes in, and he's like, "Hex, calm down!" So it floats back into her hand, and of course, in the struggle, it bit Maddie's nose and made it super red.
Which that is not a thing that lasts, near as I can tell, for much longer in the episode.
Right.
Like that is
exactly, and it's a makeup thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't bother to keep the nose red for the rest of the episode. It's just here for this scene, and then don't worry about it.
Maybe Diego fixed it somehow. That's a power we haven't heard about. And one of the moments that made me laugh out loud, a great burn when Emma says, "Yeah, no, your nose is fine. The swelling is going down." Ha 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 ha.
Because clowns have red noses.
Yeah. You get an audience. And then, but Maddie has the most brain cells out of anyone this scene. She's like, "What?" And they're like, "Why are we not frozen?" And she's like, "Isn't it obvious?" They don't know the answer.
Really? They don't know what all of the people in that circle have in common?
and Diego starts to make it a flirtatious thing, like, "Well, you and I have lots in common. Am I right, Maddie?" I don't know the answer. And then she's like, we're all we have magic powers and no one else here does, so that's why we're not affected. Yeah, Emma and I are witches. You're Kanai, and there's also a strange book here who might get shredded in his sleep.
Yeah, speaking of, I feel like the flying sentient spellbook was not a thing in the notes. Is this just a thing that Emma has?
Yes, that's the spellbook of the Chosen One.
Yeah, the spellbook of the Chosen One comes up, but the fact that it flies and also has its own agenda?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
hey, you guys remember how great the Salem the cat puppet was on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the Melissa Joan Hart one?
Yes.
Wasn't that nice?
Yeah. That's it. Then we cut back to Mia, of course. She walks up to Frozen Daniel. I think this might be my favorite scene, her like taunting Frozen Daniel. Well, Daniel Miller. You're cuter in real life, but
is he?
If Emma risked her powers for you, there must be more to you than meets the eye. Transformers.
Is there?
Yeah, is there more to him than meets the eye?
He seems kind of a WYSIWYG.
Yes. for define that term for anyone listening.
What you see is
what
what
you
you
see is
get.
what you get.
Yes, yes. That's just a very funny acronym.
It is. It
Uh,
like you don't hear it said out loud a whole bunch, and every time you do, it's just good.
yeah, but he's a WYSIWYG, but doesn't have wizard powers. I don't know.
Nah, he's a
Something they're
WYSIWYG, not a wizard wig.
Exactly. Jax is a wizard wig, on the other hand, and so, but she's like, with these texts, Mr. Miller, they're like, it's so great to see you, XOXO, and she rolls her eyes at it. I look. You know, Mia's actress might give one of my favorite performances in this whole show. It's so delightfully extra.
Yeah, though there's
you know?
two actresses on this show who are having fun. One is the actress playing Mia, and the other one is the one playing Maddie. That's her name. They're the only ones having any fun here, near as I can tell.
Yeah, Maddie, who
and
seems to be
Agamemnon.
like the mean girl who has been, defanged enough to become an occasional ally. So now we have to introduce a new meaner girl.
Yes. Who is part of the Kanai order and is thus like lashing out at being oppressed in that way. I mean that's part of her motivation. I'm just telling you now.
Okay, it was not clear at all in the two episodes that we watched.
Yeah, but she's like, oh, Diego and Maddie are coming. I better act frozen, and Maddie talks about wanting to rat Emma out to the council. You know what? Fair enough. I'm with her on that one.
Stopping
I'm
time
sure
does seem like a situation in which you do tell the teacher.
Yes.
Especially if she can't get time unstopped. That is absolutely a tell the teacher situation.
Yes. Absolutely. But then
They're gonna notice.
Yeah. Because the Earth could stop spinning.
Evidently.
Yeah, and there's a whole Vsauce video on what happens if the Earth stops spinning. It's not good things.
I feel like we should not think about the cosmological implications here because I'm pretty sure the
They
writers
didn't.
did not.
Yeah, not at all.
No, I'm telling you, they did mention it, but a bit later. But Mia says, so many witches in this town. You mean two?
Well, they all seem to
does-
go to the same smoothie bar.
Yeah. So she's encountered two witches. That's but she is speaking in, taunting tone. It's a, hyperbolic thing. She's like, so many witches in this town. Looks like we're outnumbered, Danny. And then she shifts him so that when he's unfrozen, he'll fall down the stairs. Also, this is the thing. She grabs him by the arm and turns like his whole torso. But when we cut to the shot of him like facing the stairs, his feet have also turned. How did he turn his feet when frozen? Like,
Yeah.
I love the blocking in this show. Can you tell? One of my favorite things is pointing out every single one of those instances. So she's like, I'll make my grand entrance. So she's gonna steal Andy's jet ski. Starts making her grand plan, but then none of the spells in the hex are in work to unfreeze time. Better make the work, better make time move again. Doesn't work, and it. Or what was the rhyme that she tried to rhyme again with like pain or something? Again with pain?
Something like that. Is she reading these from the book or is she making these up on the spot? It sounds like she's making them up on the spot.
Yeah, it's unclear. She's looking at the book, but it seems like she's making them up.
Yeah, she's just flustered, But Diego makes a joke of how you'd have to use a British accent to rhyme with pain with again.
Oh, and then he
And
just starts talking, and it's bad. It's bad to hear.
It's bad to listen to.
But Maddie finds it funny. Oh my god, Maddie is so annoying in this episode. Like her like being flirtatious and giggly. So Diego's so cute. She's never been more annoying than this, let me say.
It feels like something she's putting on, and I'm not sure if that's just because the actress is playing it like that, or if that's like part of the story.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. Well, we shall see. But and of course, Maddie can't resist using the time-stopping situation in order to prank Andy by putting eyeshadow on her. She's a tomboy, so having eyeshadow on would be intolerable for her, you
Yes,
see.
obviously the worst thing that could possibly happen.
Imagine makeup on a girl!
Andy can't stand that kind of thing. She loves her motorcycles and jet skis. You know, those two things are incompatible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're either a girly girl or a tomboy, and you don't like the things associated with the other thing.
Yeah,
It's
well,
weird.
a
It's
character-
almost though it's rigidly enforcing a gender binary.
Well, you see, a character creation, you
What?
can pick motorcycles or makeup, but not both. They're
Yeah.
mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so then Emma's like, better restart the clock, and then we get grandfather clock sounds blasting in the mix.
Yeah, they play it off like they're playing randomly, but I think the sound department keeps forgetting to have them play constantly. So they just go off every once in a while.
Yeah, totally. And then Emma's so flustered she says, everyone is I have to enunciate this. Everyone's stone cold stop, not stopped. So make time move again.
No, not even Emily Dickinson would let that fly. No, absolutely not.
and then and then Mia decides to heat things up, or rather cool things down, by actually having everything freeze with her kunai powers. And of course everyone assumes that Emma did it once again.
Why?
Like, why is everything? Because she's the only one who could have done
Because
it. To their
time
perspective.
freeze so cold?
Yeah, make everything actually freeze. That they're assuming that Emma did that accidentally too. I'm guessing.
Listen, it adds 2 minutes to the runtime. Don't worry about it.
and so Maddie as liberator of the council. Okay, so
Yeah,
so
I was
Proxy
wondering.
is not a title. Proxy is not a title, but liberator of the council is a title that she made up. Because in the season 2 climax, she saved the witches' council from limbo, so they humor her by letting her be called that. Because she's vain, you see.
Yeah, she keeps playing it up like it's a real title that they've given her, and no.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm gonna go with the council. This is the best thing. Trust me. And she like speaks genuinely warmly, like, I'm sorry, Emma. I'm not pleased about having to maybe get you in trouble, but this is important. I'm like, actually, yeah, good on you, Maddie. You're telling the teacher, and it's the proper thing to do.
Yeah, is this supposed to be like Annie mentioned earlier that this is sort of like the defanged Mean Girl situation, where she's no longer really a villain, but they've decided to keep her around, so now they need another meaner girl to bring in. This feels like a reflection of that, where like a couple of seasons earlier
Yes.
she would have just done it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she was the straightforward mean girl to start with. You're exactly right. Now she's been defanged by dating Diego, you see.
Oh, jeez.
Ah, she got a boy.
And he brought out the good side in her by teaching her to be selfless or something.
Or something.
And Emma remarks like, I'm glad there's one less crazy witch in here now. And then Maddie's mom comes in and maybe the worst character.
This character seems like, at the very least, a lot to deal with on a day where you're already dealing with a lot.
Yeah. So Maddie's mom is a powerless witch, as is Lily. Did I mention that?
Yes, and it's not clear what powerless witch means.
So is witch considered a species here? Because sometimes in some modern fantasy things, witch is considered a species, not just like a job.
Right. Yeah, witch and wizard kind is a species, as is Kanai, a separate species from that. And there was actual like a whole subplot in season 2 about like the anti-Kanai racism among witches.
Oh God.
And then
oh, I bet that was handled deftly.
Yes. And Ursula being like super anti Maddie dating Diego because of his separate speciesism.
Yeah, the fact that it was also a white girl dating a Latino guy, I'm sure the visual metaphor was blatant.
Yes. If to bring in an "I will fight you" connection, it's like Theodore Rex.
Oh God. Dude, would you believe that I forgot we had done that movie until right now?
You don't want to know what's going on at the haunted carnival?
Well, hey, later, Mia brings in cookies, so I'll stop talking about that now. I have a feeling I'm causing some brain aneurysms, reminding you of it. So. So Maddie's mom apparently she's like, yeah, it was the whole weird thing of everyone being frozen. I had to bump everyone's cars out of the way with my car in order to get here.
This is another role that I would want to play if I had to do this, was to be the vapid, rich, white, like mean girl mom.
Yeah, who was obviously very blatantly committed vehicular homicide in the past.
And other crimes, apparently.
She's like, she sees Emma like having to deal with the whole time stop situation, and she's like, well, at least I'll get personal top-notch service. Take my order now.
Yeah, we have, by the way, established that sand stops midair, so I'm not sure she's going to be able to like pour a drink under these conditions.
Yeah.
Exactly. She can't even get time moving again by rhyming stop with again. So. But then of course the Witches' Council shows up.
Oh God, the Witches' Council.
Yeah, there was another Witches' Council member in season 2 who gets like sidelined for most of it. I got to interview that actress last month.
Oh, fun.
So this is like Lily, the former Guardian, current Guardian?
Yeah, current Guardian.
Okay. And then 2 homosexuals.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's like dollar store Giles from Buffy.
Mm-hmm. / Doc Brown.
And a 1950s woman.
Well, I saw her as more like basically
rockabilly woman.
Yeah, every woman who lives in Portland is what this lady looks like.
Really? That's not half as much flannel as one would expect in Portland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they proclaim, "You've stopped the world," and I wrote in to melt with you. Yes. And of course, why is everything wintry? And Maddie's like, not only that, she's making the bell toll. And I was like, Maddie clearly is a literature fan, a Hemingway fan.
Yeah, and then the sound department remembers there's supposed to be a bell going off, so off it goes.
Yes, and then Ursula like starts yapping, so Desdemona tapes her mouth shut. Mercifully. That everyone treats it as, but they start remarking like, Emma's powers are expanding, but her training isn't. And they say it in exactly that way. Yes.
And then they all look at Lily, because apparently this is her fault.
completely her fault. Like when your student is just stopping time accidentally out of nowhere, it's obviously your fault. And but graciously Emma defends her, and Agamemnon's like, why aren't you spending time practicing your spells instead of serving the sunbathing human masses with these unappetizing beverages? Then he takes a step and he's like, oh, actually they are good. Funny sitcom humor.
Yeah, and then he's gonna spend the next 2 episodes completely obsessed with these.
Mouthing it like a
tongue
baby.
is out.
Yeah, too much
Wow,
tongue
wow,
action.
wow, wow.
I don't care for it.
No.
Yeah, I didn't either. But Desdemona gets rid of the snow, and then she writes down. She has the spell give to Emma to unfreeze it, and I know it's literally like 2 words off from the first spell that Emma tried.
It's
It'll
not
be a breeze
appreciably
for the world
different.
to unfreeze. Yeah,
I would also think that unfreezing time itself would require something a little more complex than a couplet with like with odd meter and rhymes. It feels like freezing time would be at least a little more complicated than that.
Go to the storehouse, the very best yet, to check out or go talk to Chibet. What was it?
Yeah. Something more like that. Like Gem and the Holograms had a slightly more complicated rhyme scheme.
Yeah, surf and sun sounds good to me. Riding blue waves is the place to be. That was the last clue in the puzzle, I think, and that fits with them being at the beach right here. So yeah, so the world unfreezes. Mishaps happen, of course. Andy squirts sunscreen on the Hexarin, and then Daniel somersaults to his death.
Yeah, that particular pose that he was in, like that he's about to dive face first into the sand, that kills people.
He somersaults to his death, basically.
Don't worry, folks, he's fine.
So time is done being frozen. So this lasted,
and
5
like,
minutes? 10?
Yeah, something like that. And they're... But apparently the Earth didn't stop spinning, or noticeably. I'm not going to get into that, like you said. So, Daniel's like, wait, did something happen? Something must have happened. Emma? And she's like, you don't want to know, trust me. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, because she's just gone back to her shift. She's just carrying drinks again. We're that plot point is done. We're over it. We're going back to the Tiki Juice Bar.
Yeah, the Beachside 7.
We're picking that one back up.
We're not going to talk about this time freezing business much longer. But then Emma sees Jax doing his boot camp running on the beach. And he pauses and takes a look at her, and he waves. Aww.
Yeah.
Because she's still pining for him.
And I looked at him and I was like, that's the one you dumped?
Yeah, this is the Jacob. This is the Jacob.
Okay, let me explain. She dumped him because he tried to take over the magic realm.
Oh, trying to take over the magic realm.
Oh, please, that's not a deal breaker.
No. Water under the bridge. You can stop time and be fine. Take over the magic realm. That's not a no.
He held her dad hostage as a beta fish.
Like he turned her into a fish?
No, he turned the dad
into
a fish?
He turned her dad into a... And used the fish dad as a bargaining chip to get her powers.
That's still not a no.
That's also definitely not the vibe I'm getting from their interactions in the 2 episodes that we watched.
Oh yeah, Emma forgives him way too easily.
Like, she doesn't seem to care all that much about that bit.
Oh yeah, she like when the finale ended, she like forgave him instantly. Because he like turned heel at the very last possible second.
Well, he does wear a very tight V-neck t-shirt.
Yeah, he's wearing all black, so,
He has I think it's an Australian accent?
Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah,
is.
he's from Sydney.
Yeah.
Um, but then he gets yelled at by Drill Sergeant Agamemnon. Get going!
Who is
And
invisible, apparently.
no, he teleported in there.
No,
Yeah.
no, like he is invisible to mortals, to non-magicals, apparently.
No, I've never gotten that vibe.
Well, then,
That's-
what was
Wait,
the
wait.
whole bit where Daniel's like, "What are you looking at?" Oh, and he looks at where Agamemnon is and doesn't see anything, and she's like, "Oh, nothing," and looks at Agamemnon. What was that?
Bad editing.
Fair. Because otherwise, it feels like
Unclear.
he just teleported into the middle of a crowded beach with a microphone,
Yeah.
with a megaphone.
and his
Yeah,
and his juice.
yeah.
Which
And then
which he takes.
And then proceeds to yell at Emma for casting magic in public.
Yeah. Yeah, he teleports up to Jax and shouts at him with a bullhorn in a beach with people around. And but yeah. The Witches Council aren't great at their jobs, let's say. One of them got turned evil last season, Desdemona. She was like the main antagonist for a while until Jax and an evil clone of Emma took that over.
Well, you'll get that.
So yeah,
That'll happen.
yeah, but apparently the council accepted Daniel and Emma dating after all this time.
Did that just happen completely off screen, or?
Yes.
Oh, for God's sake.
I'm guessing as a reward for Emma and Daniel saving the magic realm, you know, they're just like, okay, and since you did that, we'll let you date, sure.
The amount of the things that this show decides to spend time on versus the things that this show decides you should just take as read. The decision making there is very strange.
Yes, it is. Yeah, they just make up different powers that Diego has between episodes without explanation, you know. Exactly, but Emma still clearly pines for Jax. She looks longingly in the direction where he was.
Understandably
and
so.
And then hurriedly leaves, and Daniel started to get suspicious. And Agamemnon, watching this, he's like, "Oh, this is going to be a very long year." And I can imagine you felt the same way watching this.
Well, I mean, we had an escape hatch because we knew we were only going to have to watch 2 episodes of this.
Right. And then takes the most pronounced sip of any beverage that's ever been taken.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
God,
too
stop
much.
drinking things like that.
I don't like it.
Yeah. But Daniel, he goes to see what Emma was looking at. He looks out with the binoculars. He's like, "What are you looking at, Emma?" He's very suspicious of her.
That's probably healthy.
And yeah, very Rio vibes, as he said. And then he sees a girl struggling with a jet ski. Oh no!
I
Struggling
mean,
with it.
And,
they're saying that she's struggling. What?
yeah,
Is she?
she's just driving in a zigzag pattern.
Yeah, that seems like fairly within the tolerances of being on a jet ski, that particular motion.
Yeah, but also, is that a thing that jet skis do? Like, what as they're malfunctioning? Like they drive in a zigzag?
No.
Like what?
They kind of just fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Andy's like, someone stole my jet ski. Oh, that's my jet ski. The one that's out there and going haywire.
Cruise
Oh.
Lightning.
Yeah, Cruz is her last name. So yeah.
And she watched the musical Grease, I guess?
Yeah.
And then did not understand the joke behind Grease Lightning.
Diego is watching this as well. Oh, this is the moment that I was talking about with the camera work. The camera moves in a panning shot, a handheld panning shot.
They took it off the tripod.
They figured it out.
And they like follow multiple characters in a single shot. Wow. Crazy. Diego's like looking out at the situation, and he's like, "Oh, that girl just almost hit a paddleboarder." And then Maddie says, "Proxy, are you looking at another girl?"
Oh, Jesus.
The writers saw a funny meme like that once, and then wrote that into the script.
Oh, God, is the meme
Like
that
those
old?
Archie memes.
Oh, God, is the meme that old?
It's that old.
Well, yes.
Oh, God.
And then we cut to a POV shot of the jet ski, and I was like, "Oh my God, the camera work's really popping off here. They're doing interesting things."
Now is it on the, like, you know, in Rocky Horror when they had the point of view shot of the motorcycle, that was not the motorcycle. They just had Meatloaf on a wheelchair, and then they attached the camera to the wheelchair facing him. And I'm wondering if this is the same kind of thing. Where it's like, that's not on the jet ski. They didn't have jet ski budget.
They didn't have jet ski insurance, definitely.
Oh, God.
Then Mia falls off, she jumps off. Everyone thinks she fell off. I don't know. I think you would know the difference even from a distance.
It kind of looked pretty obvious.
It was very much an oh no kind of situation.
Yeah, and then Daniel goes to rescue her, but Andy is of course like, "Oh, Cruise Lightning's still standing. Okay, good." But yeah, she's worried about that and not the potential like drowning person.
Yeah, no, the person could live or die as far as she cares, but the jet ski's fine.
Daniel picks her up and brings her to shore, and
Princess carries her, which I don't think is how a lifeguard is generally supposed to carry someone.
Yeah.
I just figure this whole scene is making Mackenzie upset.
Yeah, because he instantly starts in on chest compressions.
Madam Web vibes. That's what I thought. Madam Web vibes in this whole scene.
It's just
Madam Web had better CPR than this does,
and it's such bad CPR.
No, it's not CPR. It's OMG.
I don't know how you get OMG from CPR.
Well, you see, the youth use chat speak.
I see.
IDK, my BFF Jill.
And also, Maddie's blonde, so she's not smart. You see, she said it wrong.
She's just as blonde as everybody else in this show, honestly.
And then Daniel does like a couple of half chest compressions, like
weak baby chest compressions.
Weak baby chest compressions that don't even break the sternum.
He's not even breaking her sternum. What's he doing here? Also, I think if somebody's like, if you've worried they've taken in water, don't you want to like turn them on their side or something?
Yeah, you actually want them on their side.
Yeah,
and,
so the water can go out of the body.
And it's actually recommended you kind of open their mouth and maybe do like a few stomach Heimlich pumps first before you.
Yeah, because you're not trying to restart their heart or keep their heart or keep the body and their blood pumping. You're trying to get water out.
Yeah, you're just trying to get the water out so they can breathe.
Hey, I don't know. I think Mia's heart's working just fine, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, she wants to steal Daniel for some reason.
Why Daniel?
Yeah.
Why is that the one you want to steal?
Why Daniel?
I mean, he's fine.
He certainly is existent.
Yeah, right as Daniel's about to give her mouth to mouth, she starts like being like, "Okay, maybe I shouldn't overplay my hand," and then wakes up.
Isn't that where you want to play it? Isn't getting mouth to mouth the objective there, so you can start making out with him a little? Well, like if you're going to be a femme fatale seductress.
Yeah, but she just decides to stop acting like she's unconscious and wakes up right before he starts giving mouth to mouth. "You saved me!" Hugs him. Wow. Is she gonna give him a drawing or something?
Extremely bad child's drawing.
That would be the funniest thing. But I don't know. Andy can start to tell, like, I think something's up here. But then she's soon mollified by Mia giving her some tools, so yeah. Then we cut to Daniel's mom bringing the siblings to the beach, to the pool, and she's like, no pranks, absolutely none, no pranks, and no liquid nitrogen, and no hoses spraying things, nothing like that.
You mentioned the three younger siblings, the T3s, in the notes, and I gotta say, these three feel like characters from like a completely different Nickelodeon sitcom that have just kind of
100%.
wandered into this one.
Yeah, and also this wasn't
Yeah.
what I was expecting when I read three younger siblings who do pranks. They almost seem a little old for it.
Well, I mean, it's been a couple of years since the first season. Then that does they matured a lot in that time. It gives off a different vibe. Yeah.
Also, that youngest one looks familiar, and now it's gonna make me crazy if I don't look up Jason Ian Drucker. Oh yeah, he was the younger brother in Bumblebee. That's where I know him from.
That I thought he looked like that kid. Okay, he's the one in the karate suit.
He's the one who's perpetually in the karate suit.
Yep. Okay.
And they're like, we're gonna be so bored without the idea of doing pranks. They're getting prank withdrawal. But meanwhile, some other kids started showing up and giving mischievous vibes, starting to take their titles, the ultimate mischievous kids.
There's an inordinate amount of time spent on this.
Yes. 100%.
Like, if it were Lucas editing this, I would be like, Lucas, get the Dark Place bit again.
Oh, if you send that to me, I'll put it in.
Let me look it up for you.
Yeah. Find it and send it to me later.
Okay.
But yeah. This will be magically done through editing. So then Agamemnon and Desdemona in the nurse's office at school say to Lily that Emma needs to shape up and she needs to stop slacking and stop allowing, risky things to happen, like time stopping. But Lily's like, she's just a kid. I can't, be breathing down her neck. That's not healthy. But then they straight up say, soon we won't be able to control her.
This feels like a scene from, like, a version of the show that takes the magical world building stuff way more seriously.
It was really easy to unfreeze time. So, like,
Yeah.
how were they having trouble controlling her? Freezing time was not a big deal.
Yeah, and it's not like they spell it over and over again. It was just an accident. It's not like she has any malicious intent to upstage them. So why are they so we need to clamp down on her tendencies? What?
To refill juice cups?
So that she won't get fired from her part-time job.
You would think being the chosen one would come with I don't know, a stipend.
You think? I would expect that the chosen one, the soon-to-be most powerful witch on the planet, doesn't have to work a minimum wage job on the beach.
Nah,
well,
Belle's character.
I'm fully of the opinion that everyone in the world should have to do a little bit of a customer service job.
Well, yeah, fair.
But the problem with too many of our leaders in the world is that they have never worked a customer service job. But
Of course.
Also,
I have a
brief update.
Sorry, go ahead.
I do have to leave in an hour, so we might want to keep going.
Okay, I think we're making good time for that though. Desdemona offers to keep an eye on Emma instead, and so she does a very smooth job of that soon. Mia though makes up a good cover story for the whole situation. This was a honestly kind of smooth lie where she's like, I'm also a lifeguard. I saw that jet ski drifting out, and so I went to grab it and drive it back, but then I just got disoriented. Oh, okay.
yeah, that story. Yeah, I think the implication is supposed to be, I got disoriented because of the time stopping. But I gotta say, I got disoriented and fell over on the jet ski is a very weak ending to that story.
Yeah. Well, it's very possible because it's so hot. Very, very hot and humid out in Miami, and they tell an anecdote. Diego got so disoriented in the heat, he walked home in the wrong direction. But Mia's like, no, it's not something like that. It's not just a normal heat thing. It felt like magic. What? No, there's no such thing. We gotta go.
I gotta wonder what the long game is here with regards to
What?
is
Why did she?
with regards to spooking these guys is with regards to what if your cover is blown? Like I'm not sure what that achieves.
Why would you tip your hand on that right now? Like 2 minutes after meeting them, if you're playing a long game like that. Yeah, she's the mean girl. Gotta stir the pot
Like if
every so often to remind you that she's a mean
yeah,
girl.
if she wasn't magic, this scene would work because then it's like, uh-oh, what if a mundane person starts to figure out that magic is real, but we know she's magic. So what's the tension here exactly?
Deeply
The
unclear.
tension for yeah, the tension for them is like, oh, they don't know she's magic, so if she starts to be suspicious of it, then that tension is there for them. Uh, it's poorly done dramatic irony, is what it is. Um, and 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 then Andy is like, that yeah, can't believe that whole Great Miami time stoppage happened. Like she coins the name for it. Um, she's quirky that way. And then Mia makes Emma fall with the tray of smoothies again. And what did you think of the CG on this? You talked about the book earlier.
Oh god.
It just kind of gently gets dragged down by a mouse. Like a mouse cursor just click and drags the tray to the floor.
Yeah, you know those videos where people are just moving images around in MS Paint?
And this is the big problem. It's not stopping time itself. It's tripping and a tray not clattering to the floor. This is the thing that gets her in trouble.
That's the last straw.
Not
Yeah.
stopping time.
Desdemona caught her in 4K, doing spells out in public.
Yeah, she has a whole video montage prepared, complete with music, which honestly I'm impressed. Mood.
Yeah. I don't know what this sentence means that Mia says. She's like, now for the fireworks. What is this referring to? I have no idea.
Is the video montage supposed to be the fireworks?
No, I think it's for her getting in trouble and people getting mad, but they don't really do that. But like, this is the break. That was our cliffhanger moment. But like, you wouldn't really. The episode just kind of stops.
Every episode just stops.
There's not like, and like, there's no like music swell or anything to indicate that there's a rising point in tension. There's no like dramatic zooms to be like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? It just stops. It's just put
done.
the knife down, cut it. You take the scissors to the film and you just cut it right there, right between those frames.
Yeah, the sound cuts mid-word sometimes.
Yeah.
It's surely by now they knew they were making a 20-minute per episode show.
Yeah. But we had to leave in the whole Diego talking in a British accent scene. That all had to stay.
Yeah, we had to keep that.
But we can't have proper just a few more frames for a shot to end properly,
It feels like they shot the whole season all in one go, and then they just cut it every 20 minutes exactly.
Forward, never back.
Yes. But so, like I said, Mia, does the Kanai thing to make Emma fall, and then says, now for the fireworks. Like, that wasn't referring to the falling thing. That I don't know what she was talking about. Like, she said that in a foreboding tone, maybe I'm guessing it's to do with, I'm gonna horn in and become Daniel's love interest now?
Is that fireworks?
That
I'm not sure Daniel's capable of fireworks, emotionally.
So Emma is like, maybe Maddie caused the tray to float down to the ground, and Desdemona is offended that she would dare accuse the liberator of the council of doing that. But then she's like, yeah, we just use that title to humor her. Because she did save us and all. Desdemona just sends Emma to boot camp in the middle of her shift, and is like, yeah, you're just gonna go to boot camp now. No, held to the consequences in your personal life for just going missing,
I'm not sure Desdemona knows what a job is.
No.
I'm not sure she's very clear on the concept.
She kind of has Maddie's mom vibes in that way, but just a bit different, And so Emma gets sent to boot camp and runs into Jax. Oh dear.
So what
It's like,
is the
wow.
boot camp? Because it seems like a dimly lit CrossFit gym.
Yes, that seems to be exactly what it is, and it's like punishment for witches and wizards who have done bad things. So because of Jax trying to take over the magic realm, this is where he got sent. And
That's the standard punishment
Yeah.
for trying to take over the magic realm.
Is you go to CrossFit?
Is you gotta go to
Yeah.
CrossFit.
You gotta
for a few weeks.
like you can tell it's a gym because there's people vaguely jogging in the background and sometimes they do pull-ups.
Yeah, that the punishment, all those magic crimes like taking over the magic realm is you have to do exercise for every day for weeks.
Ah, yes, the
Yeah.
the very common punishment for trying to overthrow the state.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm not going to get political again. Sorry. Surprised to see you here, Emma. But yeah, there's only a few of us left here in boot camp. Half of us got sent home and stripped of our powers. For what reason? Like what?
So
He doesn't really.
if you fail at boot camp, I think the implication is that you don't get to have magic powers anymore.
I suppose so.
And how do they take away your magic powers?
Oh, they cast a spell on you and then put the powers in a little tube, a glass tube.
Like a phylactery?
That just raises more questions.
Yeah.
That, the way powers manifest is like you can take them out of someone and put them in a tube. Yeah, that's a thing. But Jax is like hanging on by his fingertips. That's what he says. There's only a week left, and I gotta prove myself. And he's like, "Why are you here, Emma?" "Oh, they accused me of spellcasting in public. Taking over the magic realm, making smoothies on the fly. Same thing.
Yeah, same punishment.
Same punishment. They accused me of it. And did you do it?" "No." Gives her a look. "Okay, fine. Yeah, I did."
I was pleasantly surprised that Emma actually has chemistry with this character.
Yeah, way more than she does Daniel.
In a way that she doesn't with basically anybody else.
Yeah, I was like, you're kind of right. She barely even has chemistry with her best friend.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. Like she gets real snippy with her best friend plenty of the time. Like, why are you calling it? Why'd you make up a name for the Great Miami Time Stoppage? Why are you trying to do this? Make me feel worse. When Andy's clearly just trying to have some fun. I went on a tangent about this in one episode. Emma might be a transphobe because she called Matt. She said that Maddie had man hands.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
I realize it's a show from 2015, but also I'm pretty sure that wasn't okay even in 2015.
Yeah, with my guest in that episode, we went on an extended tangent about that. Yeah, but Emma definitely has her unlikable sides, I'll say. And don't you worry, as we get towards the end of this show, we're only going to see that more. So
Super.
Yeah. So but Agamemnon is like, ha ha ha! What? Glad to see you here, Emma. Now do 10 vision spells, and she casts a spell right at the camera. Whoa! Wish we had 3D glasses for that moment. What do you think of the spell casting graphics?
I mean, they seem
the
stock
hand.
standard for 2015 post Harry Potter world / like a cheaper Wizards of Waverly Place, which was like 8 years before this.
Yeah, it's like ones you can clearly download off the internet.
Yeah, this is all very like, there's an After Effects plugin for this, and we're going to use that and only that.
Oh, they also used Premiere to smooth out the wind sound from actually shooting on the beach. Like you can very clearly hear the wind ruffling. A lot of time.
Hooray!
Did you like feel that at all?
I think I felt that something was weird with the audio, but I couldn't put my finger on why. And it turns out that was probably why.
Sometimes you could hear somebody clearly, and then you'd hear somebody, and they'd be like quiet and more burbled, and I couldn't understand a word they were saying. Thank you, Paramount for having closed captions.
Yeah, no, Mackenzie, that wasn't your brain. That was just the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then Diego, he's the most incompetent out of everyone. He's like, I'm gonna pour juice into the blender that's on without a lid on it.
Yeah, Diego is surprisingly inept at making smoothies, considering his job is making smoothies.
Yeah, and he's like, so Emma and Gigi are both MIA. Unlike Mia, hey, I'm sorry, but yeah, crickets for that one. So Maddie is like, empanadas are good. That delivery made me like, I don't. That made me like viscerally uncomfortable.
I also,
for you guys?
The reading was odd, and also just the presence of the line was odd. I'm not sure what that did for the scene.
she's not paying attention, but like also, why should she have to be? She's not an employee. Why are you yelling at all your friends who are not employees to help you out, Diego?
Oh God.
And then when he gets juice all over him, Maddie says, she's like giggles and like, hey, look, he's Proxylicious.
It's almost a line.
She's a Fergie fan, I guess. She's a Fergie fan and a Ernest Hemingway fan. She's very cultured.
She's got breadth. She's got layers.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote in my notes, I don't know why that's both so profoundly cringe and kind of makes me laugh, the Proxylicious bit. It's both simultaneously, but Daniel asks what Daniel's like looking at this and he's like, are Emma and I this nauseating as a couple? And Andy's like, you guys are worse actually. I don't know if they are.
I admittedly I have not seen much of them as a couple, but like they aren't this gooey.
No. Andy, I call foul on that one. But then Mia comes in. She's like, what's going on? What happened here? And Andy's like, it was a smoothie NATO in here, and she's like, I brought you cookies, Daniel, as a gift for saving me. It's oatmeal, your favorite.
On a plate that she brought herself.
Yes. How did this not set off all the red flags? The fact that upon like just meeting him, supposedly she knows what his favorite cookie is.
She later plays it off as she says, "Oh yeah, me too," but like she very clearly revealed some stalker information, and everyone just kind of shrugs it off.
Yeah, it's like, oh, these are my favorite, and she says, "I know. I mean, they're my favorite too." Yeah.
Yeah, they're not very bright.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Here, I have all the tools that I need to fix Crew's lightning." And then he's like, "Wait, you have the exact right wrench that I wanted. You know, that I've been dying to get. It was the #1 tool 3 years running or something."
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is there a tool?
I'm not sure that's how anything works.
Is there a tool magazine that ranks the best ones?
I mean, there's the one that ranks the best ones within a category, but that's like a wire cutter situation where it's like a consumer reviews thing. I don't think there's a situation where it's like, let's take all of the tools that were released this year and just rank them straight up.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like Consumer Reports with like electronics, you know, giving them reviews and rankings and everything. And then when Andy threatens Maddie with a wrench, Mia's like, "No need to hurt anyone," and then offers to pick up the slack at the 7 since the employees are gone. And I'm like, that is absolutely illegal.
Again, no food handling licenses. Teenagers only, no adults.
Teenagers only, no adults, no food handling licenses, and anyone can come and work there at any time, I guess.
And also they don't talk even the slightest bit about paying her for working, you know, a shift, you know. But she's like, "You guys saved my life. It's the least I could do, helping out at the juice bar." Very Yeah, they're not too bright to not pick up on this suspicious
You
behavior.
did a
Yeah.
few lackluster
Um,
chest compressions on me, therefore, free labor.
Yeah. Eh, and then Maddie's like, she's feeling left out. She's feeling jealous, so she's like, "I'll help out too, but in actuality, I'll just make my Panthers do the work so that I'll get the credit in my warped sense of things."
Is there a particular
Uh,
reason that her like mean girl clique is called the Panthers?
it sounds like the Plastics.
That's it. That's
why.
the extent of it.
I'm assuming. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what I was hoping for.
Well, I mean, they talk a little bit about like them being fierce, vaguely sometimes.
Like
Okay.
the Cheetah
You know.
Girls?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, fun side tangent. I'm working on a video ranking every Rihanna song, and because I did that's my next one after the big Gem song ranking, um, and there you know the Rihanna song S and M.
Yes.
She that song, if you match it up with if you play it next to Strut by the Cheetah Girls, they sound very similar.
Hmm.
Strut like you mean it, S S S and M M M. They and they both have a come on verse to it.
Hmm.
It's just something I noticed, and it was found very amusing.
Which
I'll
one of those
definitely
predates the other?
Oh, I'm almost certain the Cheetah Girls one came first.
Oh, that's an interesting layer.
So then Sophie is like, I've been preparing all my life for this moment to take on Emma's job. Okay, what did you think of Sophie in general?
What was the name of the Amanda Seyfried character in Mean Girls?
Karen.
Karen. It's Budget Karen.
Except way to the extremes.
Yeah, like I didn't think that character type could get dumber.
Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna help out, and she starts like tossing glasses around and just splashing water and making a huge mess.
Oh, jeez.
And instantly.
And then seems to be convinced that she's also taking over like Emma's whole thing as the chosen one.
Yeah.
Is that a pre-existing thing?
What do you mean?
Like, is her wanting to be the new chosen one, despite her not being like a witch or anything? Is that like a thing?
No, it's not. It's just a funny like, oh, this, like, we just want to have a bit of like her being dumb again and everyone looking at her like, what are you on, Sophie? You know.
Sure.
Yeah, that's not a thing. But then the Diego doesn't believe that the T3 are off of their pranking business, and he's like, well, what's this, sunscreen? Yeah. I'm sure it says sunscreen on the label, but I'm sure it's actually, then he just squeezes it on the ground, and like, what did that prove? Like, whether it was sunscreen or
Yeah,
not?
no, what was he expecting to happen, and would it have been a better outcome than squirting sunscreen all over the ground?
It would not have. But then Tommy very hilariously says like, hey, why'd you do that? I need that sunscreen for my delicate porcelain skin.
It feels like a line from the character he plays in Bumblebee, to be honest.
Yeah, he's very typecast, obviously. And then Diego says to his cousins, the other prankster kids, he's like, "What? Well, the cousins are like, they seem nice," and he's like, "Yeah, they are nice until you cross them, and then you'll get batter or fish or battered fish on your head." He was trying to make them laugh, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the worst prank that anyone could possibly imagine. I don't think that was as good an example as he seemed to think it was.
No.
Is it?
If anything, getting fry oil on your head maybe would be worse, but this is just batter.
Well, I mean, yeah, hot fry oil would be much worse, but
This feels like something from the era of Nickelodeon where everyone was obsessed with goo.
oh, 100%. Yeah, there was an entire like goo plot line in the first season. So then Jax has to do spell strength training, levitating a tire with his finger. But Emma's like, I can't be here. I can't be at boot camp. It's an inconvenient time for boot camp. It was like, you just snatched me out of my normal life, and now like, even if this party thing weren't part of the equation, what, she just went missing? Like they're not concerned about that.
Well, we later find out that all of her friends found out she was at boot camp completely off screen.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to be like, "Oh, that's fine." So I guess
That's normal.
Did I miss this? Did they say how everyone
No.
else learned this information?
I think
No.
it's implied that her mentor nurse told people, but again, implied. We even have like a scene where like Daniel's like, "Oh my God, where is she? I've blown up her phone and I can't get a hold of her." And then later he's like, "Well, it's fine. It's probably fine if she's going to be great at boot camp. It's whatever." So like,
I think there were a
he
couple
found
of
out at some
scenes where
point.
there was a couple of lines that were like, "Thanks for telling us she was at boot camp," but we never get the scene where she tells them that Emma's at boot camp.
Yeah, that she wouldn't have gotten the opportunity, even if like phones worked between the magic dimension. I don't think they gave her phone time. Told by Agamemnon, "You're gonna stay here until I'm satisfied that you've learned your lesson. In fact, I'm gonna make you motivation for Jax. He's gonna have to levitate the tire over you."
So this is like a tractor
Isn't it-
tire, but it's not a particularly heavy one. It's rubber.
Right.
So it's not really at the worst it's going to give her a bit of a bruise. But they act like it will kill her.
But also, isn't she standing in the middle of the hole?
Yeah,
Won't it just
she
fall
is.
around her?
It feels like they're
Like,
setting up.
If it were
The show keeps setting up for jokes that it just doesn't do.
Yeah, there's a lot of material that they just cut. I know this, actually. That because, like you said, they gotta... Well, they both stretch things out and have to cut crucial information.
Yeah, this is like Madam Web levels of why is this the thing you kept?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And Andy that then proclaims to Lily that none of the freaky things like stopping time would have happened if she were Emma's guardian. And Lily's like, "Yeah, sure. I got reflexes like a cat, so that'll help out." And then this is the scene where Sophie runs up and she's like, I'm ready for my training to be the next chosen one. And they're both like, what? Yeah, I'm gonna be the next chosen one. Hi, Sophie, did you swallow ocean water? Only a gallon or so.
Oh, jeez. They keep implying that this character has done things to like physically harm herself.
Oh, yeah. Well, one time she got herself locked in a classroom overnight because she didn't realize that school was out.
At this point, I feel like she has to manually breathe. Like her body doesn't do it automatically.
Mm-hmm. But also, I'm not kidding. She has dirt on high-up politicians.
What?
She has a favor box, and in that favor box, and by favor box I mean one that she just mimes opening and sifting through to get people's favors.
Okay, so this isn't like a Hoover file. She
claims to have favors on file for the Prime Minister of Canada and the Mayor of Miami.
I buy the Prime Minister of Canada.
So I've been theorizing that the reason the world is in the state that it is now is because Sophie's pulling the strings.
Yeah, I honestly, I 100% believe that she has, like, yet another blackface photo of Justin Trudeau.
Yikes.
Yes. Wait, what? Wait.
Oh, is...
I don't know. Wait,
don't get into it now.
And I've practiced my spellcasting moves. Here, I'm gonna swing my hips. And they're like, "Okay, you keep working on that, Sophie. We're gonna leave now."
It is extremely awkward.
This was the moment I think I felt the most sorry for you guys jumping in.
It was just baffling to watch because it's like, again, why is this the thing that they kept in the episode? Why is this here? It doesn't go anywhere.
It funny, haha. Exactly. And but Mia is able to fulfill the orders perfectly. She makes everyone's sandwiches just the right way. And Diego's like, "Wow, you're competent."
Also, somebody ordered a sandwich that was like, I think they said it was a tuna melt with maple syrup.
Yes.
No. Not in favor of that.
Oh yeah, but also characters in the show regularly order terrible pizza topping combinations like anchovy caramel. That's Emma's dad's favorite pizza.
Now I'm wondering if that's like better or worse than the maple bacon sundae I had that one time.
Maple bacon sundae sounds pretty normal, actually.
Yeah, honestly, the bacon mostly served as like
candied bacon. Yeah,
it was mostly just it was like pecans basically. It was like a slightly savorier pecan. It worked pretty well. I think the addition of the other things on a pizza is what makes that combination gross.
And of course Sophie makes a mess of the place. Yeah, spilling the water everywhere, just tossing glasses around. Wee. And then Maddie cleans the counter after that with a spell. The Witches' Council isn't on Maddie for that. That was much more brazen than anything Emma did.
Yeah, it's pretty blatant.
No one cares about what Maddie does.
Well, she is apparently the liberator of the council?
Yeah. But legit, Mia saw her, and like if that could have gone made things worse, you know. If we weren't already with the knowledge that Mia knows about magic already, but and then Gigi has her misinformation blog. Isn't that a funny pun? Her blog is called Misinformation.
It's I can see it, but also the joke is just
she's a girl. Misinformation.
Yeah, the joke is just that it's called misinformation.
I think misinformation is the kind of thing that you see used in like a newspaper opinion piece or like a recurring.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not really like something that anyone under the age of 40 would really choose.
Maybe that's her target demographic.
Could be.
Oh, like all those columns where you write about my problems. Sincerely, Mr. Aggrieved.
Yeah, or like
well, Mr. Aggrieved, here's the answer to your problem.
Yeah, or the or like the Captain Underpants books where the teachers have names like Misanthrope.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty good. And then Diego's like, hey, why are you vlogging and not working? You're on the clock, Gigi. And here, I'll take your phone away. Get back to work. And so in order to avoid working, she just jumped in the pool.
Yeah, because he threw her phone in the pool.
I must have been looking away at that moment.
That'll happen.
Yeah, the thing about everything being shot in like a medium or wide shot is that it's impossible to track what you're supposed to be paying attention to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They need to have those like panning shots more often off the tripod. And Lily laments to Daniel that she can't control Emma. Why is she talking to Daniel about that? Like, what is he supposed to like make her feel better? I don't like that.
Yeah, adult woman, please stop asking this teenage boy for advice. He's got nothing.
Yeah, like why are you venting your problems to him? But he's like, no, you don't need to worry about Emma. She's gonna be the best and most responsible witch ever. I just know it. You'll see.
Based on what, Daniel?
I mean, he's been there for a few magical shenanigans, but he's just talking with his heart.
Well, he's not dead yet, so it must be working out okay.
Yeah. I mean, he did get sent to the abyss once. But,
what?
You know what? We don't have time to get into that.
Yeah, no, never mind. We don't have time to get into Daniel got sent to the Shadow Realm.
We're almost done. So, and then back to the tire situation. Oh my god, this is a whole thing. The word teletransport. They try to make the word teletransport a thing.
Is that not
almost like there's a shorter version of that is frequently used in fantasy fiction.
Like teleport or transport. But you've combined them.
We gotta have our own stamp on it, so we put the words together, you see?
Also, the implication is that he's been holding this tire over her head for, I guess, hours?
No, it can't have been hours. I don't think it's unclear how long it's been at any point during this day.
The show just cuts around randomly.
What is time?
What is time? You can freeze it, and it's really easy to unfreeze it.
You can just say, it'll be a breeze for the world to unfreeze. But if you get it 2 words wrong, then it won't work.
I feel like that system should be a little fuzzier.
Yeah. And then, like, you gotta teletransport out of there to avoid the tire. I can't hold it much longer. And Agamemnon laughs. Like, so if Jax believes that Emma might get crushed to death by this tire, why Agamemnon's finding this funny? What a dick. I swore myself.
I'm not sure Dick tips you over much in terms of the swearing scale. We've said much worse things.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically she teleports out of there, and I don't know whether I doubt I put this in the notes, but Emma's not able to teletransport herself anywhere other than the school swimming pool.
That's it? That's just a running joke that every time she tries to teletransport, she ends up in the school swimming pool?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
And
there's
never an explanation for why this
is. I mean, it's a funny running joke, but I didn't know it was a running joke, so the fact that she ended up in the swimming pool was just very confusing to me.
I guess it's fine. She gets instantly transported to a labyrinth, which is, a series of, what is that, maybe like 6 walls that they just kind of shoot from different angles?
Yeah, you know how the Enterprise only has like one hallway and they just keep
right.
And they just keep shooting it from different directions.
Also, you said it wrong. Teletransported.
No, you're right. My mistake.
and she lands in the swimming pool and says, "That was not fun." But then she's teletransported back to the boot camp magic maze. And then we get back to Robert, the oldest of the T3, freaking out from prank withdrawal. And they're like, "Why don't we do a kayak in a pool? That's kind of mischievous."
Is it?
It's not
Sure.
at all. That's just playing in a public pool, child.
Well, I mean, it's the best they have.
And again, this is just like a solid 3 minutes from a different Nickelodeon sitcom that's just here for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is this taking up so much of the?
This doesn't have.
Runtime?
I realize nothing in the show has anything to do with anything else, but this especially has nothing to do with anything else. I'm not sure these characters are even aware they're in a magical universe.
Right. Yeah. Then Jax says, "You had no right to put me in this position where Emma might have gotten hit by a tire from a few feet. You had no right to put me in this position where I'd have to, like, keep lifting it, or else Emma maybe dies. I don't know, but not."
There's kind of walking backwards into a point here with regards to like child endangerment in the carceral state, but mostly he's just like but the stakes are so low. The stakes are so unbelievably low.
Yeah, but then he says, "Go chew on a shoe," and then turns him into a dog. Whoa.
Yeah, he says go chew on a shoe, and there's a solid like second or two where you just live in a world where that line was said out loud and you don't understand why, and then he turns into a dog.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And then he lands in the maze next to Emma, and he's like, and she runs away.
So is she afraid of dogs?
This has never come up.
It's never come up that she's afraid of dogs.
Because this was even like a dog with pointy ears, and like a medium-sized dog with pointy ears. So you wonder for a second, are we supposed to think this is a wolf? Because it's not. It's a dog.
Yeah.
But then she just runs from it. It's a good dog, so I guess she's just afraid of dogs.
I guess. And when she's so afraid of dogs that she has the inclination to pick up a brick.
She is going to brick a dog to death. She has the full intention of throwing a brick at a dog's head. This is not a good person. Also, there's just a pile of bricks randomly in this labyrinth.
obviously, as you have in a maze, yeah, in your CrossFit gym, yeah. Don't you have those in your gym? The pile of loose bricks in the corner? Is that just my
Why
gym?
would you throw a brick at a dog? What's wrong with you? You are no longer a heroic character at that juncture.
I was trying to formulate a
Right.
joke about the UK being like so like janky in general that yes, of course we have half bricks in our gyms, but it just wasn't coming. It did not happen.
Yeah, there's just a pile of bricks in the corner. Yeah, but then she's like, "Wait, no, it's just you, Jax," and that passes the test apparently.
So that plot point is over now.
Well,
That
almost.
dog was in
Well,
here
then
for
Jax
5
has-
seconds, and now he's done being a dog. That's that spell over. Problem solved.
But then the test has to be done in reverse because Emma gets turned into a cockatoo. This actually has come up.
Okay,
before.
so
Jax
it is
afraid of
established
birds.
that Jax is afraid of birds because
To the point where if he sees a bird, he passes out.
I did it.
did Jax
Yes.
see Birdemic at an impressionable age and
Did he see the birds, perhaps?
Annie did take this screenshot, and I love it, and it's going forever in my reaction shots.
Yeah,
Well,
it's just
wake
it's
up
a
and
it's,
get
it's the
past your
shot
fear.
of it's the shot of Jax passed out
I
in
see
the
it now,
labyrinth
yes.
and a cockatiel just standing around his ankles and the subtitles that just say "Wake up and get past your fear."
this feels like a screenshot from like a music video from like the new metal age. But like a really,
Yes.
really low budget
You-
music video.
Here, you guys, one of you put this on your social media and get this going as a meme. You know, wake up and get past your fear with just
I
a
think you're
bird.
vastly overestimating the influence any of us have on that front.
You might be underestimating the fandom of the show that is out there. Is that plenty of? I mean, people sometimes comment on this podcast and be like, "Oh my god, this is such a godsend to have. Thank you for bringing the memory of this show back to my
It's good
life."
to find your niche.
Good. Yeah, that's kind of what happened with us
Yeah.
with Gem, is that we found out that we thought we were like the only 3 people still watching Gem in the year of our Lord 2015. And then all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Well, us and Chris Sims.
I'm actually Yeah. Yes. I'm actually volunteering to help plan GemCon. Jax is afraid of birds, but then he overcomes it. He's like, "I know it's you, Emma. Okay, I'll pick up the bird, Emma. There you
This
go."
is an incredibly well-behaved cockatoo, by the way. This is perhaps the most well-behaved cockatoo I've ever seen.
No biting.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that is a bird who has
Yeah.
chosen not to bite you,
Yes.
and that is
exactly.
definitely a choice
And then
that bird has made. Those things have toddler intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if this image that you captured has a great meme potential. I will say. Wake up and get past your fear. I'm gonna put this on the screen in the YouTube upload of this
Nice.
podcast.
Go for it.
it. So back at the juice bar, they thank Mia for helping out. Thank you so much for helping and like volunteering your time at this business. And then she's like, "Well, you could just give me what did she say? Like gifts, some sort. I didn't write it down, but and they look at her like when like they gawk at her for asking for any kind of like compensation. But she's like, "Just kidding. I just did it, out of the goodness of
Look,
my
they
heart." And they're like,
exclusively
"Oh, okay,
hire
good."
minors. They don't have to pay minors as much, legally speaking. So, like, the juice bar is not profitable.
No.
We actually have no evidence that Gigi or Emma are being paid.
Right. And then she offers to let Andy borrow the tools anytime because, "Oh, thanks for the tools helping me fix out Crew's lightning. Worked like a charm." Wait, who is referenced as having the whatever. I'm just gonna gloss over that. And then Mia says, "You guys are just weird." Why'd you say that, Mia? Like,
Again, if she weren't magic, if we didn't know she weren't magic, that she was magic, that line would work. But it feels like there's two versions of this script. One where everyone knows she's magic, and one where we don't. They are at war with each other.
Yeah. But apparently Emma had to get sent home. And, she's at my house. What? My dad's a neurosurgeon. Wait, Emma's that sick?
Yeah, they do some shtick to explain away her being gone.
Yeah, she just had to leave. She wasn't feeling well. Oh, should she go home? Oh no, she's at my house. My dad's a neurosurgeon. She's that sick? Oh, he actually helps out with just regular colds as well. Yeah. We gotta go. Bye. Whenever they run out of lies, they just like, we're gonna end this now.
I mean, that is the most, conclusively that a scene has ended in this show thus far.
It's true.
Yeah, people are actually leaving a scene to go and do something, which turns out is not something you can take for granted.
Yes, exactly. And then Ursula at the pool, she proclaims that she will be at the party for Emma's dad when she calls Emma and leaves a voicemail like, "I will be at the party so that I can be up close and personal with your dad."
Is she like the dad's stalker? Is that what the implication is?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not joking. Her dad has in the past gotten a restraining order.
Yeah, she
her.
clearly mentions that there was a 90-day restraining order on her.
Yes.
So that's upsetting.
That's distressing.
Yeah. It's mentioned at one point that Emma's dad started mowing the lawn at night so he wouldn't be outside for Ursula to see him during the day.
That's escalated
Yes.
from the tone of the rest of this.
Yep. So then there's a hose prank with what was it, applesauce or just water?
Yeah, I think it's just the old dump a bucket of water on somebody, which I'm not sure qualifies as a prank.
Well, I mean, Diego and Gigi's cousins do that, and of course, everyone assumes that the T3 did it. So yeah.
And then they proceed to get ejected from the beachside resort area that they're in. Does this go any further than this in the show, or is this just a thing that happens?
So I think that if I remember right, the T3 try and prank these other kids back, and it escalates further.
Again, that doesn't belong in this show. That's a different show.
Yeah. Why is this taking up so much time of the quote unquote plot?
Such as it is.
Yeah. But Ursula creepily shows up to the party, and Andy's like, "Are you even allowed to be in this house after all the legal things?" And then Ursula tells Daniel that Emma's dad's favorite cake is anchovy chocolate sponge, which I'm not sure isn't true because of his taste.
And again, now I'm just wondering. Is there a way that works? I think there might be, because salted chocolate is a flavor enhancer.
Yeah, and you use anchovy oil, maybe?
Yeah. There's a version of this that works, that is not disgusting.
No. I mean it's not right. I see what you mean. But yeah, Francisco gets home, hijinks ensue. Oh, we forgot to turn the mixer on. Or plug it in, but it's on, so chocolate cake batter gets everywhere on him and everything. Oh dear.
Running joke of stuff getting spilled on Francisco.
Exactly. Surprise. That's the surprise he got. And also Emma's not home. Emma's like, "I gotta leave for the party from boot camp. Even though the spells of the day aren't done." And Jax is like, "No, don't do that. You'll get in trouble." But she leaves anyway.
Yeah, there's just been an exit door the whole time.
There's been an exit door the whole time, and so she just walks over to it and walks through it.
She could have just walked out. It's a
Yeah.
very clearly marked exit door. So this is like fire safety. There is a very clearly marked exit. This will pass inspection. She could just leave.
Yeah, it's good to know that this
Yeah,
wizard boot camp is up to fire code.
Yeah, and it just goes to the
Exactly.
school cafeteria because that's another set we had ready to go for the next scenes.
Yes, exactly. But they leave, and Agamemnon catches them and is like, "We see you trying to escape. Well, well, well." And then the episode ends.
Just stops. No dramatic swell of any music, no zoom ins, no reaction shots, no tension, stings, just stops.
And it's over.
Exactly. That's what telenovelas do, I guess, or
I'm
something.
not sure that's true.
I know at least soap operas know how to do a cliffhanger.
A musical
I assume
sting.
telenovelas do the same kind of thing.
Yeah. I was just making a joke, but yeah. I've legit never seen another show that has this problem that got put out on
It's
television.
a unique issue to have on a show in its third season.
You'd think they would have figured it out
Yes.
by now.
That is also just
Or-
an American version of a pre-existing television program.
Also, I looked at the original. I skimmed through an episode of that once, and it's edited better than this.
What happened?
Even Boys Over Flowers K-drama could do cliffhangers a little bit better. And that's much
Exactly.
older than this, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. So that brings us to the end of Beachside 7 and Rebel Emma. What? So, any other things that you feel like saying as we sort of wrap up, you guys? Did you have a good time?
I can see why you're obsessed with this, because there's something about it that you're like, it doesn't make sense so much that it's compelling.
Yeah.
It's compelling how much it
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
It's hard for me to figure out
Yeah,
exactly how, obviously it's something that people can latch on to, but I don't have enough context for what this was in conversation with in 2014 and 2015 to really say what the medium was like at this time, if this was typical or atypical. I just
Yeah,
wasn't really plugged into Nickelodeon sitcoms at the
Right.
time.
Right, and I was of the proper age to get sucked into this. But I was 14,
Right.
15, and I was the exact type of person to that they were marketing it towards, and I was super into it, but also at the same time I was like, why is it like this even then?
Yeah.
And so that's why I've that and no one else. I just had to be the person to get across how strange this show is all this time later. Strikingly few people in my life have ever heard of it. Yeah.
Well, thanks
Despite
for
the fact
having
that-
us to
Yes.
to take a look at this. It's been an interesting window.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, it's very gem coded. The character archetypes line up quite a bit. As early on, compare Maddie to Pizzazz and Emma with Gem and / Jerica and Raya and Rio vibes and things.
Yeah. At the same time, it has a derangement that is very much its own. I don't think I've ever
Yes.
seen another show that is as weird. That is weird in the way that this show is weird.
Yeah, it's a very unique flavor of strange.
It's exactly it's the triple blueberry with extra blueberry flavor.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense actually. It's the chocolate anchovy sponge flavor.
Again, I'm convinced there's a way
yeah.
that can work. I
Yeah.
might try to go full on binging with Babish on this.
Certainly. Yeah. You know what I want to do? I want to make a video tier list ranking every statement necklace in this show.
That video would be
that's
so
a
long.
strange part. Yeah, they're there all the time. I legit got to ask one of the costume designers. Well, about this, and she was like, yeah, that was a thing. And not only did we have all of the I was like, you must have an entire like wall of these. And she was like, oh yeah, not only did we have, you know, every single one of those necklaces on set, we had doubles and triples of them for filming.
Oh god.
Yeah, so yeah, check out that interview, and also the one with Lisa Correo. She played the Witches Council member Ramona, who was in season 2. That was a great interview as well, so you can check that out if you want. But yeah, I want to say thank you all so much for taking the time and
yeah, thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you for having us on
and enjoying in this derangement with me. Yeah, hope you guys maybe this will help share it around to the Crooked Russian Cam audience. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys so much again, and for everyone. Any info you want to shout out, like about your content at all?
Well,
Annie does have a whole spiel for this.
Yeah, you can check out our website,
Yes.
crookedrussiancam.horse or crookedrussiancam.gay. Both of those will go to our website, the .gay horse. You can find links about all our shows on there. You can check out patreon.com/thejemjam for our money. To give us money, and our website also has links about all of our social media feeds, which is pretty much just the 2 of them as well. And that will give you pretty much everything you need to know about us and our other shows.
I feel like we should put the dog gay
Fantastic.
horse in the page metadata somewhere, like in a header, like a
Yeah.
co-header or something.
We need to get that gay horse SEO.
I forgot to ask. Do you guys have any facts to share?
Different camera angles will help.
Different camera angles will help.
Cockatoos are made
Yes.
of murder.
Wake up and get past your
Keep
fear.
your tongue in your mouth.
And that'll do it for this episode of EveRe-Watch Way. So follow EveRe-Watch Way on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Share it around to people that you know. And and everyone, stay safe. Have an excellent week. And finally, best
Best magical
magical
wishes.
wishes.